Everyone ready? Everyone good? Okay, so welcome to CakeFest 2014. This is an incredible site. The turnout this year has just been amazing. The support that we're perceiving from the community is just, it's really, it's impressive. And there's no way that we can thank you more, because when you come out like this, you're truly supporting the framework. You're showing numbers, you're showing dedication, you're showing interest in the framework, you're showing obviously your support for KPHP, for the project, for the framework, for the core developers who are here. They see you here, it builds up their morale. It lets them know that what we're doing isn't for nothing. We're doing this for us, for you guys, and for the community. So, thank you, from the bottom of our hearts, for coming out like this, for showing your support, and for coming together. It's really, it's an impressive sight from here. And this isn't possible without the help of sponsors. They make all this happen. So first and foremost, a diamond sponsor, as always, is Cake Development Corporation. Cake DC is more or less the commercial entity behind the framework, supporting the framework with professional development and consultancy services. We also provide the official training for the framework, and we also have now the certification platform, which I'm going to mention in a bit. Larry is the crazy bald guy there about midway. He's the main founder of the framework, and he's also the president of Cake DC. And we've got two great gold sponsors this year. First and foremost is Microsoft. Microsoft has just been amazing over the years. The support that they've given us, and the reach that they've allowed us to achieve with the framework recently with their Azure platform has been really great. Supporting CakePHP specifically, they've been really consistent year after year. Putting down, helping us out with the event. You've got Corey there at the back with the hat and shades. Hit him up. He's the Azure platform guy, so he can talk to you about the platform. I think he can get you some access codes as well. I hope so. Lots of access tokens. More than anything, so you guys know, there's this perception about Microsoft, that they're really not behind open source, or quite the contrary, they're against it. That's just not true. The support that comes from Microsoft is really impressive, and not just for KPHP, in the open source community in general. They put a lot behind conferences, behind events, behind platforms, and they're doing their own efforts now into open source, so that's really great. The second gold sponsor this year is Intersective. We also have Wes with us this year. Wes, where are you? You're at the back next to Corey. That's convenient, they're both there. They have a pretty impressive e-learning platform called Practera. They're based in Sydney, so if you want to reach out to Wes, they're looking for some hardcore developers to help them build that out. They're doing some pretty impressive initiatives with that platform, so if you can check him out and give him a chat up, he'll let you know all the lowdown. Silver sponsors this year are really good as well. GitHub. If you don't know who GitHub are, then you might be in the conference next door. We've fully transitioned over to GitHub now. Before, most of you know, we've been on Track and we've been on Lighthouse. We're now fully with GitHub. We have a lot of support coming from them as well. They're really great with open source. They're a true company dedicated to open source. So when you reach out to them, there's no negotiation. They understand it from the get-go. Another silver sponsor we have this year is Broadband Finder. This is a broadband comparison site in the UK. They can give you the lowdown on prices on broadband, TV, and phone in the UK. They've been behind us this year as well. And coming with the company which supports them is David Yell. David, you here? There he is. LoadSys. LoadSys, like Cake DC, have been with the framework right from the very beginning. Development and consultancy company. They've been supporting the framework with professional services, and they've been pretty consistent in supporting CakeFest as well. You've got Justin here, and I think Andrew didn't make it today. And the same goes for Sanisoft. Sanisoft are also a professional development consultancy company who have been supporting the framework. They've helped us out some years at CakeFest, and they're back with us this year. So they're really supportive of the framework as well, and the same thing, professional consultancy and development. And then there's ZenServe. ZenServe are more of a broader generic development company, although they do have a big support for CakePHP. And they've been consistent in the last years of supporting CakeFest as well. So you reach out to them and give them a hit up as well. And more sponsors. This year we've got Pact supporting us. In your giveaway bags you would have seen there's a coupon for you to pick up some free ebooks. They also helped us release a book this year, which I'm going to talk about in a bit as well. JetBrains. If you don't know JetBrains, you might know their editor, PHP Storm. They're pretty powerful now in the IDE space. PHP Storm is an amazing editor. And they've been behind us the past years for CakeFest as well. And the people who are going to be doing the lightning talks are going to be getting a free license for PHP Storm. So I hope you don't have it yet. Newsphere is in the same space, but for Windows. They have a pretty long-standing editor called PHP Ed. It's a very, very powerful PHP editor. They specialize in Windows, so if you are a Windows developer, I also have license keys for that. So reach out to me if you're interested. And O'Reilly, like Pact, these guys are really behind open source publications, dealing with all sorts of frameworks, projects, initiatives in the open source space. And O'Reilly themselves, you know, they've been a big proponent of open source conferences and events as well. So they're really behind us for the past years too. And finally, these guys are just awesome. Rackspace are incredible. They've been providing our servers for the past years. And literally, they donate their service to the framework. And we get some pretty impressive stats on the people who visit sites, which I'm also going to talk about in a bit. And they literally donate that to us. So when you visit the book, or you visit the API, or you visit any of the CakePHP websites, it's up and it's running because of them. So you know, if you're looking for really strong hosting, we can guarantee that based upon our experience, these guys are really, really good. So looking back in time, last year, CakeFest 2013, we were in San Francisco, USA. Really great event. It was the second biggest event that we had in the past years. We had over 80 attendees. The exact number, I think, was 84. And we had people coming in from over 20 countries. And we had a great range of 11 sponsors. And fast forwarding to this year, we weren't content with that. We need to go more. We need to go better. So we basically one-upped on everything. This year, we're obviously in Madrid, Spain. 110 attendees. The actual number is 116. This is actually close to the first biggest event that we had in Chicago in 2010. So this is pretty impressive. It's the next spike that's coming up with the framework. Obviously, 3.0 is coming out. And it's really showing how the community is growing, and that support is really getting behind the project. We also have a little bit more diversity this year. So instead of 20, we've got 22 countries. And we've got 2 more sponsors, so 13 sponsors this year. So this is a good demonstration of growth and how the framework is really gaining traction, especially in the event arena. So the location, Madrid. If you're not familiar with the hotel, if you've just reached here, there's an aisle which goes down to the right. You've got your toilets on the left, and to get up to the lobby, you just have your lifts on the right. If anyone gets lost, just reach out to anyone here. Most people have been here for the workshops, so they know their way around the hotel. So one of the great things this year is we've got some pretty awesome speakers. There's some really, really great people, high profiles in the community who are going to be delivering some pretty good talks. But last year, we had this number. But this year, we've doubled that. So the range of speakers that we're bringing to you this year, the array of international speakers, has literally doubled. So it's showing how people inside the CakePHP community and outside are showing interest. In fact, you've got Chris Hutches at the back, who's a massive testing guy in the community. He was actually with CakePHP a couple of years ago, a few years ago, many years ago, and now he's back. So this is really strong signals that the framework is really getting strong again. And the schedule this year, we've got a pretty hardcore schedule. Literally, we're going to be doing 24 hours over the 2 days, so it's 12 and 12. That's broken up with lunch and a break in the afternoon. And we've got a pretty, I think, a very good range of topics. So you should be able to, mingle with different areas of development, and you'll be able to talk to people about different aspects. And then we also have some activities. Today, after lunch, we have the core panel Q&A, where you'll be able to troll all of us maximally. At the end of the day, we have the lightning talks, which I think are almost out. So if anyone's got a lightning talk, we might be able to get you in. Tomorrow after lunch, we have the hour of contribution. The hour of contribution is something that we started first last year. We used to have just lightning talks and Pecha Kucha. And we switched it up last year. We were at the bar, and actually Justin from Lodsys was one of the people who were there. And we just got talking and said, well, Pecha Kucha and lightning talks, they're very similar. Maybe, people don't want to talk. Maybe we want to do something different. So just, talking, there's some alcohol involved. We said, why don't we have an hour at the conference which we dedicate to open source? The framework is open source, so it makes sense having veterans here, from the open source community, and allowing newcomers to mix with those veterans and, learn how the process is done, how the mindset is for open source, understanding, it's not this elitist kind of group that you have to somehow be invited into. It's very, very open. So that hour is dedicated to showing you how open it is and hopefully getting you involved. And if you've never contributed before, that's the hour where you're going to make your very first open source contribution. And then we finalize the Sunday, which is the last day of the event, with a raffle, and we have cake, real cake. So I'm kind of the de facto community guy for CakePHP. You probably see me out there. I look a lot more handsome in my avatar. But there's one thing that I find in the community is there's a lot of misconceptions about CakePHP. People say, oh, that's a legacy framework. Oh, no, that's a really old thing. Nobody uses that anymore. That is the most untrue statement that could exist right now in open source. This is the commit timeline for CakePHP up until CakePHP 3, from the beginning of the framework. Now, anyone here who does not see growth does not know how to read a chart, because that is growth. That is the way we're heading. We're going up. The only way is up. Cue music. And people say, oh, well, you don't do releases. You don't get stuff out there. It's stagnant. Really? 2011 was when we released 2.0, and we're currently on 2.5. In the past year, we bumped up from 2.4 to 2.5. We released developer previews at the same time for 3.0. We also had alpha releases of 3.0. Mark's going to talk about a beta after me. And we've been consistent in the number of releases we've been able to get out. So I mentioned before the kind of stats that we get of people who are visiting the CakePHP sites. Over the past year, since the last time I did the keynote last year, we've had more than 8 million visitors to the CakePHP sites. Those more than 8 million visitors have generated over 31 million page views. Now, I mentioned Rackspace. These guys are helping make this happen. But importantly, in that year, and over the history of CakePHP, we've had over 110 releases of the framework. Now, you can't say that CakePHP doesn't release. That is a 3-digit number. We release consistently. In fact, we have people commenting that our releases are coming too fast. Oh, I have to upgrade again. Well, yeah. If you're not going to complain that you're going to upgrade, you're going to complain that we're not releasing. So, there's no middle ground. And we're still in the top 5 most popular PHP projects on GitHub. Now, that sounds good, but you need to keep in mind that there are more than 130,000. So top 5 is pretty good. The framework itself has now more than 300 contributors, including the 3.0 branch. We also have 320 contributors to the documentation, which, if you didn't know, is also open source, so you can contribute to the documentation to improve it. Counting up until the 3.0 branch, we've had over 23,000 commits, so that's a pretty impressive investment from the community. And we're going to be coming up to celebrating 10 years of the framework. Now, 10 years, that's That's a significant milestone. There are very few PHP projects which can wear that badge and say, we've been around this long, and not only have we been around, but we're still kicking it. And we're not only still kicking it, but we're releasing another major version with a full rewrite of our ORM. This is real. This is happening. This isn't, I'm not talking the talk. These are stats. These are numbers. This is what's really happening right now in KPHP. It's a serious investment from the community. We're one of the very few frameworks which is 100% community driven. So there is no company behind KPHP. There is no injection of capital. It's you guys who make this happen. There's no magic wand which makes KPHP suddenly do stuff. If people don't do it, it wouldn't happen. But the fact is it's happening, so people are doing it. Socially, we're extending our reach a lot as well. We're now coming up to over 12,000 followers on Twitter. We've got over 14,000 likes on the Facebook page for KPHP. The Google group, which has been around right from the very beginning of the project, has over 18,000 members. We've got something crazy like 32,000 topics in that group. It's just ridiculous. You just can't read it through. And we've got over 20,000 questions on Stack Overflow. This last one's an odd one because I'm not sure if 20,000 is a good thing or a bad thing, but there are 20,000. It's a big number, so hey. And the reach of KPHP around the world is also something significant. There are a lot of frameworks which have like a sheer focus in like a certain area, like usually in North America. But KPHP is very diverse. So the top countries of people who are using or interested or engaging with KPHP, we got first the United States, then we got India, Spain, Japan, and Brazil. So these are where the large conglomerates of communities are happening. They're obviously all over the world, but this is where the big time. And then languages, spoken languages, first and foremost English. We then have Spanish. Keep in mind that Spanish is obviously pushed quite a bit by South America. We've got Brazilian Portuguese, then Japanese. Note that Japan, even though it's a small country, has a really, really huge KPHP community. We've actually got two people here from Japan, and one of our speakers is from Japan as well. And then we got French. And if you want French, you can reach out to Pierre Martin. He's also going to be talking this year. He's pretty strong in the French community. So if you're interested in the French community, you can reach out to him. Our ages since last year, if you see the keynote from last year, are more or less the same. It's averaging sort of around the middle ages area. Over 35, I think it's the 70-year-olds who are really pushing that number. And really important here is the male and female ratio. 11% is low. I'd say it's too low. That number needs to come up. We need to enable and we need to facilitate more women in tech. That diversity is really important. Men and women have different ways of seeing things. They have different ways of approaching problems. And if you make that approach more diverse, you're going to get more stuff done. You're going to get it done better. So incrementing that diversity is really, really important. But what's important to note here is that last year, the percentage of females was 8. We've actually incremented 3% in a year. And I'd say that's important. We also have 2 female speakers this year. We have Rosina and Anna Felina. So be sure to reach out to them. And if there's stuff that we can do to make that happen, we really need to start doing it. So like I said, over the past year, we've been doing some stuff. I'm going to talk about some of the things we've been doing. Pact have helped us release a book this year, the KPHP 2 Application Cookbook. This is actually written by myself and Jorge Gonzalez, who gave the basic workshops. And this is released on Pact, and I think it was included in the promotion that you got with your gift bags. So if you want to get a discount on that, you can grab that now. Or from BitTorrent, yeah. Also, Savant, Jose Gonzalez, I'm not sure if he's made it after last night at the bar. He also released a book. It's his own initiative. He's self-publishing. And he's got some praise for his book recently, so that's really good. One thing just to note about our book, me and Jorge are actually donating 100% of the royalties to the Cake Software Foundation. So know that when you buy the book, you're putting into the project. I mentioned GitHub. We were actually split between GitHub and Lighthouse up until end of last year, where we had the tickets on Lighthouse and we had the repo and the commits on GitHub. We now ditched Lighthouse. We had a pretty poor experience with them. So we've literally moved everything over to GitHub. So we're exclusively on GitHub now. And just to point out, opening an issue isn't a bad thing. If you come to the repo and you open up an issue and say, hey, I was using this, it doesn't work, we're not going to blacklist you. We're not going to hate you for the rest of your life. We want that feedback. We want to know when you're finding problems, even if you think it's not relevant. You think, oh, it's just something that's tweaking a little bit and not working very well. We need to know these things because 1, 2, 10 people will take a look at it, somebody will find a solution, gets fixed, gets patched, and is out with the next release. This year, we also released the KPHP certification platform. People have been literally beating us up over this because they've wanted it for a long, long time. People have asked us, how can I do something and then show that I'm worthy of using the framework? We have Zen Framework and Symfony for a long time have been offering certification options, and people have been saying, I want it for KPHP as well. So the KPHP certification platform is now live. So this allows you to sign up. You can basically take a test, and if you pass the test, you gain certification. And that certification is recognized by the Cake Software Foundation. So you can then go around and you can boast about it all you want. This year we also released another effort, the KPHP podcast. A lot of people are podcasting now, and people are kind of saying, hey, why isn't KPHP podcasting? Well, we are now. So Jack Frew reached out to us. He was really interested in helping out with that effort in the community. I think we've already got 2 episodes out, so if you want to take a listen to those later, that's a good time to mention about the Wi-Fi. Note that we're a lot of people this year. We've got 100 megabytes fiber optic, so it should be good, but respect that everybody's on the internet, so don't watch too many kitten videos. And finally, this happens because you get involved. It happens because you're here. It happens because you talk on IRC. It happens because you reach out to someone on Stack Overflow, you help them with their problem. It happens because you make a pull request. It happens because you just register an issue and you say you found something. All of this happens because of that, because you get involved with the project. This gets better the more you get involved. So literally, if you do more, KPHP gets better. So the more you invest, the more you're going to get back. This is literally a mutual back rub. So if you rub our back, you can guarantee you're going to get your back rubbed as well. Once again, it's an effort to get out here. Some of you are coming from quite far away. So a massive thank you for making the effort to come. We really, really appreciate it. It really does get to us that you come out like this and you show your support. So thank you to everyone, and I hope you enjoy the conference. Thank you. Mark? So I'm just going to pass you over to Mark Story, and he's going to do a more